Alright, here we go. Story number 2. 50-mile walk. So, again, this was about the same time as the hill. Within the same 12 months anyway. This was earlier in the year. Yeah, it was the same year, but this was earlier in the year. This was like in late February. Probably about this time of year actually. Maybe late February, early March. I can remember vividly that I had been sleeping terribly. It had been going on for a few weeks, so I was knackered. Just, yeah, had shit going on, and actually it turned out it was because I'd quit smoking cigarettes. For some reason I'd taken up smoking for like a year beforehand after having quit for ages, and then had to re-quit, and quitting sucks. And yeah, so I just wasn't sleeping, and I remember this night. Previous to that, I've been doing a lot of reading. A couple of years before that, I'd done this thing called the Strenuous Life. It was like a year-long sort of quest almost. Joined this membership, this Strenuous Life, and we had tasks to do each week, daily stuff to do. Daily stuff was cool. What the hardest thing with the daily stuff was you had to do a good deed every day and not get caught. You had to do something good for somebody and not have them know you did it, which is a lot more tricky than you think, but it really sets you up in a good way when you're thinking about doing good things and not expecting or not actively not wanting a thank you for it, just doing something nice for somebody. Turned out that you just sort of did the same sort of things all, for different people, but simple things, washing someone's coffee cup, or getting somebody nicer tea bags at work, or just little things, but it was really cool. Anyway, I digress. So part of the strenuous life, part of that whole world, I suppose, is a lot of stories around, particularly a speech by Teddy Roosevelt, US president, old one, and he's got this speech, and there's a part of it that's quite famous. But basically, I'll paraphrase this. He says, unless you're the one doing it, don't talk shit about somebody. So, like, man in the arena, I think is the sort of phrase, the bit, and basically says, unless you're the guy in the arena, covered in blood and dirt and sweat, then don't. As a spectator, don't look in and go, oh, he should do this or he should do that. Just shut the fuck up. Let the poor dude get his ass kicked or winning or whatever he's doing. Let him just do his thing, because he's the one in there doing it, learning the lessons. Yeah. And so part of the myth that is Roosevelt is this think about his 50-mile walk. I think it started from him, and then maybe one of the Kennedys even took it up again. Basically said, people in the army should be able to just anybody should go and walk 50 miles, which is about 80 k's. And basically, as a society, we've gotten soft because, if you said to somebody today, go walk 50 miles. No training, just go walk it. Just go walk it. Don't spend 3 months practicing and training and preparing. Just go and buy fancy shoes. Just start walking 50 miles. That's it. Go. And I read about this, and it always something that was like, yeah, I want to test my metal. I want to see if I can do this. So I had been sleeping and was feeling pretty shit. And I woke up one morning, 3 o'clock in the morning or something, as I had been. And I've gotten used to that thing where you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, not going to go back to sleep. It's too early to get up. I want to sleep, tired. And I'm just going to toss and turn and hate the world until, 5 o'clock or something, get up and do whatever. So I got up this morning and I went, you know what? No, I'm going to go walk 50 miles. And I got my phone out and I quickly worked out where 50 miles or 80 something Ks would be. And I grabbed a backpack, some water, a couple of muesli bars, and put some shoes on and just started walking. And for where I live, I walked from, if you know the area, I walked from Churchill to Morwell, from Morwell to Thorpedale to Mooba North to Ballara, Yuna, back to Churchill. That's 80 something Ks, 80 point whatever 50 mile to kilometres is. That's the path. Anyway, I just started walking and walked to Morwell. When I walked along the freeway, I remember walking along the freeway and it must have been at like, I don't know, 4:30 in the morning, and a couple of people slowed down. Someone actually stopped and was like, "Dude, you okay?" I was just walking on the freeway in a backpack, and some bloke just was driving to work. That was really nice. Just checking on you, making sure you're right, man. Yep, no, I'm good, just walk. Anyway, so walked. I remember the pain started up the hill towards Thorpedale, so that was probably about 20 something Ks in, maybe 25 Ks in. Shin splints, because the shoes that I was wearing were old shoes, definitely weren't anything special. They were a pair of like sort of cross trainer hiking type shoes. They had steel caps, they were heavy, they were clunky. Poor choice, but hey, at 3 o'clock in the morning, you're not making great choices. I decided I was walking and I was just going to do it in the spirit of the walk, which was just to go walk. So I did. Anyway, I'm walking along and this shin splint started, and I'd never really gotten shin splints before. So those of you that haven't had shin splints, you're just going to go, oh, yeah, it's sore shins. For those of you who had shin splints, you're going to know that, it's very unpleasant. So I walked up and I got to Thorpedale, and my feet had started to get blisters, and I had a look at my feet and decided I wasn't going to look at my feet anymore because I was missing big chunks of skin. So I had blisters, shin splints, and I'm just going to grit my teeth. This is what it's all about, This is like finding where you can go, how far you can push yourself. So I've got probably 2/3 to go, 30 something Ks in, 50 odd Ks to go, and I'm just going to keep walking. I did. So I'm trudging along the road, and I remember I was walking along the road, and it got that painful by the stage that walking on the bitumen, every step was like thud, thud, thud. So I started to walk just up in the grass part on the side of the road. But that was some parts of the road you couldn't do that. It wasn't there, but there was bits where there was like just gravelly sort of stuff. It was just a little bit softer, and oh my god, so good. Anyway, I walked along there. I remember at this point, my brother calling me and talking to my brother on the phone as I was walking, and just that conversation, I remember it taking my mind off how much it sucked at the moment, the pain I was in my shins. So that was great. I walked down the hill and I walked into Mooba North Road, heading up there, Anyway, I got close to moving north, and there's these cars. There's lines and lines of cars. What's going on? Something's happened. There's something going on. Something big. Potentially something bad. Anyway, I walk along, and by this stage, say I was walking was that's probably a bit of a stretch. I wasn't walking anymore. I had this like shuffle thing going on, and I was bent over, shuffling along, just really just grunting it out. Funny thing happened afterwards. Days later, one of my colleagues at work said to me, "Were you walking the other day, like way out on this road?" I was like, "Yeah, that was me." And they said, "I thought it might have been you, but I thought it couldn't possibly, because I said it just looked like some beat up old man. It was like a homeless dude walking down the side of the road, shuffling along." But I thought, well, thank you for thinking that I looked like a homeless bum walking down the side of the road. But yeah, anyhow, it was a pretty sad sight, and it was pretty sad from where I was walking from too. So anyway, so I'm walking down this road, there's all these cars, and it turned out there'd been an accident, motorbike and a car, and dude riding the motorbike didn't come out too well. And this is one of those times when you can hurt, and then you can hurt some more, because a few years previous to that, I'd lost my best mate in a bike accident, and just that whole thing about, you know, the road toll, and you know, I've lost my best mate in this, you know, similar way, and I was pretty miserable already before I even started, and then I was in all this pain, and I was like, you just think, oh, it couldn't possibly hurt anymore, but then, you know, it really did. Just fuck, it was miserable, you know. All this shit come up about Dion, and you know, walk along and see the accident, or I'll walk straight past it because it just happened. You know, the police were there, and the police were there. They couldn't even get to it, full of cars and stuff around. So there was just people that were, you know, doing the first aid, that were trying to direct traffic around, that were trying to, you know, deal with this accident. And I literally walked past it. See this dude lying on the ground, car, bikes in bits. You know, dude was, you know, never did found out whether he survived, but geez, it's in a bad way. And yeah, I started to walk back and shuffle. Anyway, I shuffled, and I got to probably got to the home stretch, you know, close to the home stretch, maybe like 15 k's from home. And this stage, you know, I was in all kinds of pain, and I found my limit. I found where I could take no more, and I gave up. I just stopped. You know, my feet were gone. Shin splints, but every step was just agony. And I looked at the GPS I had, and I'd done, must have been 15 k's, must have been a bit less. I'd done around 60 k's, so I was 20 k's short. And as much as I willed myself to continue, I just said no more, and I sat down on a railing at the side of the road, because I didn't want to sit down on the ground. I didn't think I'd get up. Honestly, did not think I'd get up. And yeah, I sat there and hopefully stuck my thumb out, you know, hitch a ride, get a lift back to Churchill. I did. I got a lift back to Churchill, Actually got picked up a couple of cars. One dropped me off so far, and the other one turned out to be a student of mine. Because I was teaching at the time. A student of mine and their mum picked me up, and I was so grateful. Yeah, and they drove me home. I remember getting home and taking my shoes off and pulling my sock off, and my foot just came apart. Like, it was gone. It was shredded. Toenails came off with it. Lost a few toenails, and so wow, I'm really did a number. And this was on a Sunday, so I had to go to work the next day. So Monday morning, I got up and got dressed. I used to wear a suit to work, a teacher. And I got into this habit a couple of years after I started teaching, because I really wanted to project the image of a leader in the classroom, and demonstrate to the kids that I took it seriously. I think I needed to do it myself. I needed to think I was taking it seriously, because I didn't really take the whole teaching thing real seriously. It was just something fun, and that's all right, fun. And I kept on having a lot of fun as a teacher. It was a really enjoyable time. But yeah, wearing this suit was like a thing for myself, that putting on my uniform, and I'm a teacher and I've got a responsibility, I've got a job to do, I take this shit seriously, and wearing a suit was something that really, you stand up a bit straighter, and don't fuck around as much. I'm wearing a suit, dude's wearing a suit, and funnily enough, people take you more seriously. You walk into a shop wearing a suit, yeah, you go somewhere wearing a suit, it's a whole different kettle of fish. Start wearing a suit. Like it, for better or for worse, people judge you on your appearance, but they do, and if you look like a bum, you're gonna get treated like a bum. You look like a dude in a suit, you're gonna get treated like a dude in a suit. Simple as that. That's just how it is. So I get dressed in my suit to go to work, and go put my shoes on, and that stops. My shoes aren't going on. Like, the shoes are just, I can't get my shoes on. My feet were that swollen, let alone the blisters, and I had band-aids and toenails missing, and that was a mess. They were ugly. But I couldn't get my shoes on because they physically would not fit. They were that swollen. So I put my slippers on, my house slippers, moccos. They were old school moccos, and went to work. So I rocked up to the classroom, shuffled into the classroom, still couldn't walk that good, and got there in front of the class, and of course all the students like, what the dude, what's going on? And I told them what I'd done, and I wanted to show them that some hard work. I'm willing to put in the hard work. I said I was going to do this thing. I set out to achieve this goal, and I failed. This is a story of failure. This is no triumph. There's no happy ending. There's no I did this really hard thing and I battled through adversity and stuff. I gave up. When the going got really, really tough, I found out how far I could push myself, and I couldn't push anymore. I gave up. And I failed. And that's, I just told them. I told the kids that's happened. This is what I did. And I told them the whole story. They all wanted to know. And I said, but I'm here. And I just keep going. Like, it's not the end of the world. I failed, but hey, it sucks, it hurts, huge conflict of emotions about it, still to this day. Could I have kept going? Had I just rested a bit, could I have made it on? Perhaps if I'd done a little bit of preparation or whatever, but the spirit of it is to do it. Turns out that the original spirit of the thing was to do it over 3 days. You do 50 miles over 3 days, you walk so far. blah, spread it out and do 50 miles. And that's kind of what the thing was. Supposed to walk, you know, however far and do that. And that was, but I'd read some different accounts where they were just doing it in one go. Either or, in my attempt again, I fell short. What happened was this turned into this really cool story with my students. Like the students, like I don't know, they just seemed to, it really resonated with them. Resonated. That's the word. With them, and it buoyed me. It just really, this failure. But all of a sudden, I was like, yeah, man, I had a crack. And that's what it became about. It became about just having a crack. I had to go. And you're that person in the arena. Don't be dissing someone else for having a go, even if they're being beat up, whatever. Like, it's about having a crack, about having a go, and that's what I've done. And that's the lesson that I was showing my students, was demonstrating in real life that I was willing, what I was willing to do to show them what could be done. That you can just have a go. So I was always asking them, just have a go. You know, the students I worked with, they were quite, a lot of them were quite reluctant to try. Because trying would mean that potentially they'd fail. And I'd always say, it's all right if you fail, it doesn't matter, you know, you just have another go, you know. But it's all well and good for me as a teacher. You know, I quite enjoyed school. I did all right at school. You know, reading and writing and you know, things that a lot of people, I took for granted. It was just, that's what you do, but it's not. That's not the case. It's a struggle for a lot of people. And I was constantly asking my students to do these things, to make these attempts. And that's what this walk was about me demonstrating, not talking about, not just writing about, not writing on the board about, not telling them stories about, but in, you know, they could see my feet. So I showed them my feet, you know, I took my slippers off and peeled my socks off and showed them, you know, missing toenails and just blood and shit. So I was still bleeding, and it was messy. But you imagine especially teenage boys that love that shit. They were eating it up. I thought that was the best thing. It was so disgusting. But yeah, it was like, it was real. It was real. Like I was the teacher, and this is what I was willing to do. And then that became the real story. It's like, yeah, it's what it's all about. Like, it's time for action. And you know, all this sort of shit's the started to get some guy. You know, just get some. Get some, yeah, come on, man. But that's it. That's where it all sort of started to happen. You know, started to come for me, because this was a huge change. You know, a huge change in the classroom. It was a huge change in how the students saw me. A massive change in how I saw myself and what my role was as a teacher, as a leader. You know, I even nominated myself. I can't remember exactly what it was for, but for like a community leader or something award. I nominated myself because of this thing that I did. I remember reading about it. I went, yeah, that's me, 100%. I'm doing that. I'm living this. So I nominated myself. I wrote this email, blah, 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 and sent it away. And I actually won it. And yeah, months later, I get a phone call from Leah Metha. She does cool. She's written a cool book, and she does these communication workshops and stuff. And she rang me up and said, "Yeah, you won this award." And I'm like, "For what?" I sort of forgotten about it. I'm like, wow. Yeah, and that became another part of the story, you know, like, you know, because I wrote about, I remember in the application or the nominations, you know, I wrote about how that I really saw my role as a leader is to demonstrate, is to actively show, put your skin in the game, put your money where your mouth is, show people what you stand for, what you're willing to do, You just talk about it, actually take the action, and that's what I've done, and that's sort of really where I started to walk the walk even more. And so that's the story of the 50-mile walk, and it's a story of failure, and it's a story of it's a story of pain and sorrow and heartache, and it's a really cool, it was a real pivotal moment in my journey, and yeah, cool. So this is the bit where I say, get some.